It began quietly. A leaked technical brief, dense with jargon, stamped with dire warnings, appeared online. The F-35 Lightning II, the West's billion-dollar superjet, had a problem. Not a minor glitch, but a flaw that shook the foundations of military strategy. The leak spread silently, infecting secure servers and encrypted inboxes worldwide. Military analysts, usually eager to comment, fell silent. The Pentagon's usual confidence evaporated. When the people in charge stopped talking, you know the trouble is real. The document didn't scream disaster. It calmly described a flaw in the F-35's brain, the Autonomic Logistics Information System, or ALIS. This brain, meant to make the pilot a god of the skies, had a secret flaw so deep it couldn't be fixed with a patch or hardware swap. It was a flaw in the very philosophy of the aircraft. The world of military aviation held its breath. The F-35, sold as the future, now looked dangerously vulnerable. We've been promised technological supremacy, but what if that promise was a lie? The leak didn't just question a jet, it questioned an entire generation of military thinking. The silence from the top was the most damning evidence of all. A whisper had become a thunderclap, echoing from Washington to Canberra. The fatal flaw wasn't in the engine or the stealth coating. It was in the F-35's brain. The jet's central nervous system, designed to fuse data from countless sensors, could be tricked. Under the right conditions, it could be fed false information, and it would believe it. The technical term, cascading data corruption. A sophisticated enemy doesn't need to shoot the F-35 down. They just need to lie to it. By spoofing its sensors, adversaries can create ghost targets or erase real threats from the pilot's view. The pilot becomes a puppet, the enemy pulling the strings. Simulations showed F-35’s shot down without a missile fired, confused, paralyzed by bad data. The system, meant to reduce pilot workload, becomes a weapon against its own crew. The flaw isn't a bug, it's a consequence of the F-35's core design, total information fusion. The system assumes its sensors are infallible. There's no "are you sure" button, no manual override. A clever adversary doesn't need to hack the code, just exploit the logic. The F-35's greatest strength, its brain, could be its undoing. That's a flaw of biblical proportions. The F-35 program has been plagued by problems from the start. Cost overruns, delays and technical failures. It was meant to be a Swiss Army knife for the skies, but struggled to master any role. The list of issues is legendary. Engines catching fire, stealth coating peeling, buggy software, and a helmet that made pilots sick. In early dogfights, the F-35 lost to older jets like the F-16. Each failure was dismissed as a developmental challenge, but doubts grew. We were told to trust the process, that perfection was just around the corner. Now the latest leak suggests the final product might not just be flawed, but fatally so. After all the time and money, the F-35's core promise is in question. The reaction from experts was a mix of vindication and alarm. Longtime critics like Pierre Sprey called the flaw proof of a broken concept. Too much complexity, not enough reliability. They argue the F-35's vulnerability is the logical result of betting everything on a single, all-knowing system. Others urge caution, suggesting the leak might be out of context or already fixed. But even optimists admit trust in the F-35 program is at an all-time low. The leak hits where it hurts most. Reputation. If pilots can't trust their jets and enemies sense weakness, the battle is lost before it begins. The silence from officials only deepens the crisis of confidence. The F-35 isn't just a jet, it's the backbone of Western air power. Dozens of nations have built their security around it, retiring older planes and restructuring entire forces. If the F-35's network can be poisoned with bad data, the whole system collapses. Instead of a coordinated wolf pack, you get isolated, confused pilots. Imagine a Pacific conflict F-35's blinded by electronic warfare, seeing phantom threats or missing real ones. The mission fails, no shots fired, just chaos. The psychological blow would be immense, signaling the end of Western air dominance. The flaw also upends the economics of air combat. Why build a $100 million jet if a cheap electronic attack can neutralize it? Adversaries can invest in smarter, cheaper ways to exploit this weakness. The F-35 becomes a $1 trillion target with a bullseye on its brain. The domino effect could reshape military budgets and strategies for decades. The stakes couldn't be higher. For decades, the West has taken air superiority for granted. The F-35 was supposed to guarantee that dominance, but now everything is in doubt. If the F-35 can be blinded, does air superiority still belong to the most complex jet or the most resilient? The future may shift towards simpler, more robust fighters and dedicated electronic warfare planes. The F-35's philosophy of automating everything may have created a new point of failure, the system's own logic. Perhaps the answer isn't removing the pilot, but empowering them to fight both in the air and inside their own cockpit systems. This crisis could accelerate the move to autonomous drones, cheaper, expendable, and adaptable. The F-35 was meant to be the last manned fighter. Its flaw may ensure that's true, but not for the reasons intended. The race for the sky is far from over, and the rules have changed. Now we must ask, was the F-35 a colossal mistake? We bet everything on one jet, believing technology could solve any problem, but complexity isn't strength, and the F-35 may be too clever for its own good. The flaw in its data fusion isn't just technical, it's philosophical. We built a machine to see everything, but forgot to ask what happens if it sees ghosts. If the flaw is real and unfixable, the consequences are catastrophic. Compromised fleets, shifting power, and wasted trillions. Even if patched, the myth of invincibility is shattered. Doubt now shadows every mission, every pilot, every ally. The F-35 may become a lesson in hubris, a reminder that there's no silver bullet in air combat, only the next fight and the risk of bringing the wrong weapon.